Hello, my love. Good morning to you. It is nice to visit with you, as always. I'm thinking about you, as always. I hope that this finds you well. I hope that you are rested. I hope that you realize both how important you are and that you are not important at all. I know that that is very much a bit of a cone, but it is true. We feel that we are so important, and to certain people, most certainly you are to me, so incredibly important. But when you pull back in the grand scheme of things, we are not important at all. In fact, I would argue that there is no individual to be important anyway, and that there is much more a collective at work than we think. But that's another matter. I hope you are well. I was thinking about the revolution starts with you. And by you, I mean me. And that this was something that I thought of about myself. It took me a long time to come to this perspective, but I was very often dissatisfied with what I saw or thought were injustices in the world, inequities, you could say. And they pained me greatly, and I wanted change. And I especially wanted change on a grand scale. And it took me a long time to realize that I'll say wasn't necessary, but that's not exactly right. To say that that was not the only way to effect change. And the mantra became, the revolution starts with you, which is what I would say to myself. In terms of if I wanted to effect change in the world, as the saying goes, I needed to be that change. Instead of telling others what they should do, or what paradigm they should use, or how they should approach the world, I ultimately took a more quiet view of revolution and change, in thinking that I simply needed to embody it myself. And given the grand wave of time, for lack of a better analogy, given the eons that will pass and have passed, trying to effectuate change on a grand scale all at once was not necessary for me. That is not to say that it is not important or others should not do it, or even that perhaps maybe I should have, but that, again, as to what I can control, it's me, and I should start there. And then from there espouse to others, or show others if I think that it is a better way, which is itself arguable. But I found that empowering to me. Arguably, some might say I was too complacent in not trying to effectuate a larger or grander change. I would have to think about that. There may be some truth to it. There's not much I can do about it now, but it's funny, it ties into what I said at the beginning of how we are so important and not important at all. There are so many things we can do and questions of whether we should do them. And then at the end of our lives, there is simply what we have done and the choices we have made. And perhaps I could have made different ones. Well, of course I could have made different ones, but perhaps I could have made ones that would have had a larger effect. But then I did not feel that that was quite my place. I'm rambling on a tangent now, so I should probably stop. Something to think about. Whether you want to effectuate change on a large scale or a small scale, I do believe that the revolution starts with you. and whether you take it to others is another matter. But I will leave it at that and bid you adieu and recommend again that you sit back when you have a moment of quiet and pause and listen to Goldmund.